Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to this presentation about unlocking the potential of your enterprise data with open data sharing. My name is Akram. I am a product director here at Databricks. I look after our ecosystem, data sharing, and collaboration partnerships. And I will be joined today by Senthil from SAP and Raj Kumar from Salesforce to talk about how you can unify your enterprise data across different applications and systems using open data sharing. With that, I'm going to get started. It's a big topic with a lot to cover, so I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to just start off with the problem we set off to solve as Databricks. You heard it from Ali this morning in the keynote, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But basically, the fundamental issue that we're trying to solve as Databricks is that there is just way too many data silos and too much complexity, too many tools in the data estate of enterprises. And that means data lakes, different data warehouses, different tools for ETL, for visualization, for data warehouses. If you're lucky, you have one. Many enterprises have multiple data warehouses and obviously fragmented governance as well. So this leads to data silos that drive a lot of costs. It also leads to inconsistent governance and inconsistent policies. And finally, it also kind of slows down innovation. You have disparate tools, disparate teams, and then you have to align everybody to get anything done. And this kind of slows things down. So this is really the fundamental problem. And it just is unnecessarily expensive and complex. So with Databricks, we're using this concept of a lake house with open formats, so Delta, Iceberg, all first-class citizens now, with Unity Catalog, unifying the governance on top of that, unlocking all of the use cases that you can unlock with Databricks. So that includes apps, and you've heard this morning a lot about databases and apps and how Databricks is helping with that. Lakeflow for simplifying data engineering and ETL, AI BI for business users, Mosaic AI for AI agents, DB SQL for data warehouse, and obviously a marketplace with plenty of partners that are integrated into Databricks. So this is all built with Unity Catalog, which sits on top of those open formats and kind of makes the governance of it all simplified. And the key point here, and you'll see it in tomorrow's keynote with Matej, is that Unity Catalog is really an open format in the sense that not only it is built, it's an open catalog, not only it is built on open data formats at the storage layer, but it's also open from an engine perspective. So in the sense that you can use it with Databricks, but you can read and write from any other third-party engine. So the spirit of all of this is just to unify the entire data estate. And when you look at it, you see that a lot of companies have made a lot of progress unifying these different technical tools and systems for data analysts and data scientists and AI engineers and data engineers, and you have one lake house that kind of unifies all of that with open formats. But there are still these massive business applications that are often driven by other parts of the organization, sometimes by the marketing organization, sales or finance organizations that use these business applications. And there are still silos between your data platform, albeit being unified on open data formats, and some of these business applications. And this leads to complexities and problems like ETL and reverse ETL and different copies of the data and basically the cost and complexity that comes with that. And the idea is to kind of just use these open formats to do this next layer of unification beyond your kind of core data platform, to have open unify the data beyond the data platform to the business application. So everything will be built on Delta or Iceberg. And this unlocks this kind of zero copy open data sharing bi-directional between the apps and the data platform. And the way we do that at Databricks is really with Delta sharing, is the open source protocol that we've built. It's used for many use cases, including third-party data licensing for monetization. It's used for internal sharing within the enterprise across different teams. And it's used for this kind of SaaS application business app sharing. And the characteristics of Delta sharing is really there's 4 elements that are important. Number one is it supports all assets. So it's not only for structured data, it's also for unstructured data, AI models, notebooks, so you can share those openly as well. It works across clouds and regions, so you can have one single copy of your application that works, of your data that you can share across clouds and regions, and that actually turned out pretty handy when you're sharing your SaaS applications data. It shares the data directly from where it lives in open formats or not, actually. So you can connect delta sharing to any database or system. And then finally, it's an open sharing protocol. So you can share openly, not only to Databricks clients, but you can share across the entire ecosystem, across all platforms. So these are really the fundamental characteristics of delta sharing. Oops, I was supposed to be on this slide. So I was one slide behind. So we're investing in delta sharing across different ways to kind of reduce the TCO. So the idea here in delta sharing is really share any asset with anyone without any friction. And we've been hitting all of these elements with our investment. Sharing any assets, now you can share iceberg data, you can share tables that have ABAC, you can share lakehouse federated tables, you can share dynamic views, AI models, volumes, and so on. You can share with anyone, so we're investing in that as well. So you'll see tomorrow in the keynote, you'll be able to share with Iceberg clients so that we can extend the ecosystem to any Iceberg engine. We've invested in the authentication of the open sharing, and then you can share without friction. So we're eliminating all the cost and friction that comes with networking and things like that, that kind of slows down the delta sharing kind of setup. And this is growing very fast. So we have an ecosystem is growing 300% year on year. And it was already growing 300% year on year last year. So it's the same number. It's continuing to grow. And a lot of it is open sharing. So when I was talking about sharing openly across platforms, you can see in the numbers, 40% of the shares are actually to non-Databricks client. And specifically in the business applications layer, we have many, many partners that are integrating, sharing, and zero copy kind of live sharing with Databricks so that customers can unify their data using open format to minimize that ETL and kind of copying data back and forth. And you can see some of the names here. Oracle has it. Aviva is manufacturing software. Infornexus is in the supply chain business. Atlassian is in kind of business processes. And then we have here today, you can hear it directly from them, SAP and Salesforce. So with this, I'm going to pass it to Senthil, who's going to tell us how SAP is using delta sharing and integrating with Databricks.
So as a show of hands, how many of you did not attend the morning's keynote today? Amazing session. Great. Then it makes my job much easier because we absolutely align with what Ali and the team talked about today. My name is Sendil, by the way, and I'm part of the engineering organization of SAP's product and engineering unit. I'm here to talk about how we can unlock SAP data to support your AI business needs today without moving it, as Akram pointed out, using delta sharing. Clearly, the power of AI is emerging only when the business context is also shared with AI, right? It's not just the data, but also the context in which it is shared with the AI is important. So we believe that the AI's power, along with the business context, the semantics, and the data together is what is going to create these new fantastic applications we discussed today morning. And SAP has been working through this. And one of the things that we fully understand and we have a vision that we are realizing is this concept of our SAP Business Application Suite. This suite includes these 3 layers, I'll talk in a minute, that really bring together this virtuous cycle of continuous intelligence and self-learning applications that learn and feed off itself using our AI and other technologies. Of course, at the bottom of it is our applications, the business applications, and with the extension of our data platform, you are able to now capture the source or the truth of data as it is happening within the applications. And many of you know that we have announced a product called, or a service called SAP Business Data Cloud earlier this year, along with the partnering with Databricks. And that provides the foundation of all data coming together and when enriched with semantically, that allows these applications to bring multiple data across various LOB applications. And once these data is there, we are now able to share and power our AI tools on top. SAP Business AI, that includes our SAP Joule, which is our co-pilot, along with our foundation models, as well as our knowledge graphs, really power this data and provide the necessary tools using our agentic model, the agents, orchestrating various operations across the applications, breaking silos, and really bringing together the entire suite alive. And then as you see that circle or that line coming back, as it learns more, the applications get enriched with more data. So this side of virtual cycle or virtuous cycle is going to really power applications. And clearly what we heard in Ali's conversations earlier today sort of gives you more data points on it. Now, I want to talk a little bit about SAP Business Data Cloud that we announced earlier in February. And recently, we also made it generally available along with SAP Databricks or partnering with Databricks. This set of, basically, it's a fully SaaS application that is already available. And it allows, basically consolidates all data from our applications, bring together in a semantically rich format, which is continuously ingested and provided as what we call data products. We'll deep dive into what the data product is about. But these data products are available across all our LOB server applications. And then this basically this foundational data is now able to be consumed through various engines and thereby the personas on top of it. So we are bringing into this SAP Business Data Cloud all our data warehouse portfolio, our analytics portfolio, and the new entrant is SAP Databricks. By partnering with Databricks, we are also allowing as a special serverless version of Databricks to be part of the SAP Business Data Cloud. And with this, we are now, it is fully integrated. It's serverless. You probably have heard many topics already today and yesterday about serverless, how serverless is catching up and really providing the TCO that you can optimize your investments on. This serverless allows us to, is fully integrated with SAP Cloud Identity so that the user in an SAP world is now able to log in and skim all the data, provide provisioning, flow policies, and so on. So it's fully integrated into our identity system. In addition, we're also bringing these systems together through Delta sharing as a foundation that allows us to share these data products that are coming out of our SAP applications right into the Databricks itself. We'll have a demo and we'll click through that as well. So that is, we are very excited about it. It's available today in AWS, and we have planning to roll this out, of course, across all the hyperscalers. Just a minute on what data product is. Many of you probably have heard that term, industry term of data product. From our vantage point, a data product obviously is more than just a data set. It's a continuously updated data set that we bring from the source systems, wherever they are, SAP, and both our cloud portfolio as well as our eventually our on-prem portfolio as well. These data sets represents business entities, it represents analytical models, it can represent pretty much all the things that we do within SAP. And then added to that is this whole concept of description, self-described data set, meaning that the metadata of the business entities are fully described, the relationship between them, all the gory details about the technical integration, the primary keys, and the PII data, and so on. So these data, this description, we call it open source resource discovery. It's an open, we have open sourced a product, ORD. We can put the link in when you get this deck. And with this ORD, we are now able to describe these data sets and business entities that are fully up to date, and which can also be discoverable. So we have the endpoints that allow in a particular customer's landscape, you can discover what data products am I allowed to use and how can I consume them. And then finally comes the actual consumption, where you are able to get the consumption going through various open standard protocol, including Delta sharing. And Delta sharing is our primary way to share the data, and we will talk about that in a minute. So together, these four pillars form what we call SAP data products, and that is the foundation of how Business Data Cloud is going to start to share our data to our partners and our customers. So just to wrap up, with our SAP Databricks, which is part of Business Data Cloud, we're able to share the copies, zero copy, as you said, through this delta sharing concept, with the data products coming and made from the source with the product truth, as well as with the ability to do all the things that you're already familiar with your SAP Databricks portfolio, from running AI ML workloads to uh, delivering more insights based on the data that you get, additionally combining with third-party data as well. So with that, I'm just going to run this quick demo that hopefully gives you an idea.
Hi, this is Mona Walia, Product Manager with SAP Business Data Cloud. Earlier in February, we announced coming together of a planning analytics and warehousing portfolio. And now with SAP Databricks, we bring AI, ML, and pro-code tooling right from a single offering. SAP Business Data Cloud comes with intelligent applications. These applications contain pre-packaged insights right from your most important business processes, starting with S4HANA. These are powered by data products which are managed by SAP. Further, customers can also create data products starting with data from BW. All of these data products are easily available in SAP Databricks for running entire AI/ML lifecycle. And then results from that can easily be shared back for planning and modeling use cases or used to build business applications. Now let's see a simple use case. We have Best Run Bikes which wants to improve operations and expand internationally. For this, they want to do cash flow prediction so that they can plan accordingly. Then enter Frank and Alice. Let's see how both of them will work together to achieve this use case. Frank goes to Business Data Cloud cockpit and locates the working capital insights. Please note that this shows up here as Best Run Bikes has an entitlement for the same. He locates the cash flow data product, which is important for the cash flow prediction that we need to do. As a prerequisite, he has also put SAP Databricks and S4HANA system in a formation which builds a circle of trust for exchange of data. Next, he goes to the BDC catalog where he can see all the data products coming from various systems. He filters on the ones from S4HANA and then locates the cash flow one and goes to the details page. Here he can see a description of the data product as well as metadata from the source system. Now he initiates the sharing workflow. First, he needs to give a name for this delta share to appear and also select the Databricks workspace where this should appear. Once this is successful, he hands this over to Alice. Alice logs into her workspace and locates the delta share that she has received. She looks at the cash flow and all the columns that are coming directly from her S4HANA system. She decides to sample the data using the serverless compute that is available. Now she looks at the data and has a good idea of what the data entails and gets to work in her notebook. Alice begins by doing data preparation. As a first step, she creates a catalog out of the delta share that was received and then proceeds to perform a series of transformations on the data and generate time series sequence. She can now look at the data and is pretty happy with the same. She can also visualize it. And now her data set is ready to go for training. She also stores it to the feature store of Databricks for reusability purposes. Now she gets on with experimentation. She starts by creating a forecasting model using AutoML capabilities of Databricks. She provides the training dataset that should be used and some other inputs as well. She also defines the location of the model where it should be registered. AutoML generates a series of experiments for Alice to evaluate. She proceeds to look at the best model suggested by AutoML and can look at the metrics. These are also nicely visualized in this tab. Flow also generates a notebook which has all the details that system ran in the background for this experiment. You can look at the predictions that have come back and also plot the prediction results. This has automatically been done by MLflow in the background. Alice proceeds to create a serving endpoint which she'll later use in a custom business application she is building. She also wants to share this back to SAP Business Data Cloud and proceeds to create a share. She creates a share with the name cashflow underscore forecast and then selects the table which contains the forecast results. She then selects SAP Business Data Cloud as a recipient. She now uses her notebook to create this delta share into a data product that SAP BDC will understand. She provides the share name that we had earlier provided and also some description to go with it. The system will automatically create season format and then publish this to the BDC catalog. In the catalog, you go to the data products tab and then filter by the Databricks system that is in the formation. Now you can see the cash flow forecast has come through. You can see the description we had provided and also the data provider and other metadata that has. You can locate the delta share and choose to install into a data sphere space of your choice. That's the end of our demo showing how SAP Databricks works in SAP Business Data Cloud. Thank you.
Great. So hopefully that demo gives you a sort of an overall picture of what we can do with Business Data Cloud and using delta sharing as a way for us to share the data to Databricks as well as to publish using the SDK that we have provided insights back to the Business Data Cloud as well. So that's hopefully gives you a good example. Now, let me quickly run through more in detail what's behind the scenes, right? So what Mona was talking about is how SAP systems continuously generate data that are ingested in our Business Data Cloud, in our object store in the open table formats, Delta. And these data sets are then transformed into, it's using the medallion architecture into real data products. And that is a continuously running process, that pipelines that actually look for any changes and have, bring the data to data products. So these data products are living data sets. Now, as we go forward, the data share is shared as using our SAP Delta Sharing Server. And this Delta Sharing Server allows the data now to be consumed by all the engines within the Business Data Cloud. And which is one thing I wanted to talk about is it is not, we believe in the Delta sharing technology and the way that it's performing, that it is not just a side thing anymore. It's like we are actually using it very innately within our engines as well, between the various engines of Business Data Cloud. So once the data is shared, now the SAP Databricks, which is part of Business Data Cloud, is able to, as the demo, as you saw the demo, you're able to mount that immediately directly into the SAP Databricks. That gives essentially the Unity catalog, the full data steward delegation, which means that you are now able to use Unity catalog to govern this data, to offer this to set of users divided into workspaces, and however you have created your policies. Now all this actually is done. And then, so that's the last part of the demo is basically we are also creating a recipient, meaning SAP Business Data Cloud is a recipient. You can actually bring the data back into BDC. And we have an SDK that you can use to publish as part of the notebook that we have done. So that hopefully gives you a pretty quick overview of what is happening under the scene. And as you say, one of the things I wanted to also highlight is that we haven't done all this work just to keep the data within Business Data Cloud. Our goal is to be able to really democratize data. So as we go forward, you will see that these data is available externally also. So I just wanted to call that out. So let's talk about the data products in general. So for the SAP customers out in the audience, there's a tremendous set of data products coming out of our product LOB organizations, all the way from S4 to other applications, from people management, from spend analytics, and so on. So here's a list that is published. This is just a very beginning list, and we will do more. I just wanted to call out the BW modernization for those of you who are not using S4. That BW modernization allows you to also connect to your existing other SAP systems as well. So that's a good one. Let me quickly do this slide. So what you have seen is that we are using the SAP data products as our foundation to be able to bring all the SAP applications into Business Data Cloud, offered as a continuously available data product. And using the Delta sharing as a technology, we are essentially democratizing these data sets to our partners as well as our applications. So hopefully that was a good demo, and hope you've learned a few things about what we're doing. With that, I'll turn it over to Raj Kumar for the next session.
Thank you, Sendil. Can you guys all hear me okay? Good afternoon, everyone. You're with me so far. My name is Raj Kumar. I'm a Data Cloud product leader. I want to kick this off with just a question. How many of you in the room use Salesforce and Databricks together in your organization? 1, 2, 3, quite a few. Okay, just one more question. How many of you build and manage ETL pipelines from Salesforce to Databricks or to other lakehouses. That's quite a few of you as well. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about how we have strongly partnered with Databricks to bring an easy zero-copy way to access data, no matter where the data is. First, a quick forward-looking statement. Please don't make any purchase decisions based on what you hear or what you see, but based on what's available in the market. And at Salesforce, we always start with a thank you. Thank you for being our customers. Thank you for being our partners. And most importantly, thank you for being here today, taking this important time with us. Enterprises continue to stitch data together. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I'm going to make sure that I look both directions here. Enterprises continue to stitch data together. You heard that at the beginning of this presentation. No matter where the data is, it could be your HR data, could be your ERP data, could be your point of sale data, or your mobile data. Why do we need to stitch that data together? Because we are at an inflection point with AI. Time is running out, and the world knows that they can get a better experience with AI. But AI needs data. It needs good quality data. The faster you can access data, the more accurate the data is, that much more insights you can deliver. But the reality today is that AI is starved of good quality data. What's happening with all of the stitched data? As you can see here, one of the biggest problems that customers run into quite often is that it's easier said than done. 81% of them say that data silos hinder their digital transformation. They're not able to easily get all of the data together. Yesterday, I was talking to a banking customer, and they have Salesforce Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. They have NetSuite. They have data that they copy and have some form of ETL pipelines to Databricks from Salesforce, but they also want all of the financial and operational reports in Anaplan. It's a mess, and he wants to fix this as a data integration problem by having a good data integration platform. Not only that, because the data is all over the place and it takes forever, they're not able to get the insights when they want. In fact, we see that 78% of the organizations are action poor. They cannot act on the data. What good is having all of the data if you can't act on it, if you can't get the insights, if you can do something with it? And that leads to 95% of the leaders saying they're not able to actually cross that schism and get to that AI agentic experiences they want to deliver to the customers because they're stuck behind data that cannot be trusted. And that's a huge problem. We've solved that at Salesforce with Data Cloud. As you can see here, at the center, at the core of everything Salesforce does is Data Cloud. With Data Cloud, you have a strong data foundation that we have laid, and that allows us to integrate very tightly with all of the Salesforce apps and deliver delightful experiences to our customers. And that, in turn, enables us to provide that agentic experiences by Agentforce to all of our customers. And all of that is built on top of our core Salesforce platform. And that's really powerful. Now think about having data that you can rely on, data that's fast and accurate. But not only that, you're now able to go to your Service Cloud, your Sales Cloud, your Commerce. You can activate to Slack, or you can get your insights on Tableau. All of that is possible instantly because you have reliable and a strong data foundation. Now let's take a look at how Data Cloud works. I'm going to go from left to right. At the very first line that you see connectors. You have hundreds of connectors that's available to you within Data Cloud. It could be all of your Salesforce connectors that you want to get out of the box, and it just works like a charm. But not only just the core and transactional data, you have access to all of your apps, your SAP data that Sendil was talking about, your NetSuite data, Workday data, your employee HR data. We have built connectors to get all of the data in, whether it is structured or unstructured. Your unstructured data could be multimodal. It could be files, it could be emails, it could be chat conversations or videos. We can bring it into Data Cloud, and with vector embedding and chunking and indexing, we are able to get all of that to full utilization within the Data Cloud. But not only that, you can also see here that we mentioned lakes and warehouses. You can ingest the data, but what we have done is we have partnered with Databricks to bring the data in a zero copy way. And when I say zero copy, I'm going to go into details on it's not replication, it's not data duplication, but just live access to that data through the internal innovation that we have provided between the two platforms to have all of that be available. Once the data is available to you in Data Cloud, you can harmonize that data. What we do is we bring all of the data together to prep and transform and model that to a standard metadata model within the Data Cloud, so that no matter where the data is coming from, you can look at a single common model of the data within Data Cloud. And that's really useful, but not quite good enough. What we also do is we take all of the data that we have, all of the users and profiles, and unify them. We have algorithms, intelligent algorithms built in to take billions and billions of identities continuously and stitch together to provide that unified profile that you can rely on. Why is that important? Because you have that central view of the customer. Imagine Sendil is a customer. He went to Amazon and purchased something. But the same Sendil also went and clicked on certain products on your website. He used his work email. He may have used his personal email. He may have 3 phone numbers. He may have 10 addresses. How do you know that it's the same Sendil, right? What we do is we bring together through our fuzzy logic, through our algorithms, through our AI, and have that unified identity of that individual. Having had that, through all of the data sources and all of the data that you've accessed, now you can actually act on that. It's governed. You have tagging and classifications on the data. You find policies. We support ABAC. And because it's built on top of Salesforce platform, you get to rely on all of the same security and policies that you're used to. It uses encryption, and all the data masking capabilities are built in to the Data Cloud. Once you have that, you can create insights. It's essentially basically BI, facts and dimensions. You can look at your lifetime value. You can look at the RFM scores of the customer. All of these insights are available to you in Data Cloud. And Data Cloud is an active platform. Whether you bring the data through batch or streaming, through structured, unstructured, or real time, it does not matter, because data is continuously flowing in the billions into Data Cloud, and all of these transformations are happening as it flows through the system, and your identities are combined. We use Data Cloud within Salesforce, so Salesforce on Salesforce. We noticed that almost 40% of our profiles were unified. That's a lot of profile unification. Now we can actually get ROI on the data, because you can act on the data and you can get responses, because we know that Sendil that was unified is the correct person, and I'm reaching out to the correct email with this correct phone number. So my campaigns are effective, my segmentations are more effective, and I can run data actions through webhooks. Because it's also deeply integrated into the platform, we can instantly make all of these insights available to you into your Sales Cloud, into your Service Cloud, and I'll show that on the next slide. But not only that, once you take all of these actions, you can use that data, that rich data, to drive your agentic experiences. And that's really the inflection point that you want to be at, where you can deliver those experiences to your customers. Or you can use Tableau Next, which is built natively on top of Data Cloud. So with semantic layer built in, you can have the data lineage, and you can actually action on the data within Tableau, which is sitting on top of Data Cloud. And all of that said, we also are open and extensible. What that means is that zero copy data that you brought in from Databricks can easily be shared back without copying and without duplicating the data into Databricks. And we do that through data sharing. We call it data federation and data sharing. It's all done through zero copy. That zero copy technology enables us to make that happen. So you have your full cycle of data going through. Let's look at the deep integration into Salesforce Data Platform. What you're seeing here on the screen is that you have your service cloud. So imagine you called into a customer service agent. You no longer have to explain to them 10 times who you are and what you're calling for, because that agent can immediately see on that central console who you are and what are your engagement points and what are your instances. You can see your lifetime value, you have your insights. All of that is enriched within Data Cloud into Salesforce, into Sales Cloud, into your Service Cloud. So all of those are available in the flow, and the agent sitting in front of their console gets that full 360 view of who you are. Having known that, they can actually decide, okay, Sendil has shopped many times. He's a very worthy customer. He's worthy of an upgrade. I can actually make the decision right there without having to put you on hold and having to have you call back next time and putting you through a ringer, right? And that's the power of Salesforce. You have all of these things capable right through instantly, where data is continuously getting enriched. Now let's look at what the market is telling us, right? Don't take my word for it. What's really interesting about this slide here is you have your usage stats. Yes, in FY25 alone, we had almost more than 50 trillion records that were ingested. 30% of them were zero copy. That's pretty phenomenal, considering zero copy is something that we launched about a couple of years ago, innovatively through all of our product platforms, and now we are doing this with Databricks. But what's also interesting to me is the 4.7 trillion activations that we have done in FY25 alone, and it's continuing to grow. What's exciting for us is that the growing expansion of ecosystem, but the amazing innovative growth of customers, from Ford to FedEx, and from Cartier to Kawasaki. You have all these different customers using Salesforce Data Cloud for all of these different use cases that I talked about in production today. How do we do this? So we have over 270 out-of-the-box connectors that are available to you right away to use. That's all of the connectors that I talked about. So once you go into Salesforce Data Cloud, you will have this access all through points and clicks. You'll be able to have access to all these connectors. You set up the connections to any of these connectors and hyperscalers, and you can instantly get data coming into Data Cloud. You have your ERP, finance, and marketing data, but also the databases, and you can stream those data, bring unstructured data into Data Cloud as well, and through zero copy to all of your lakehouses and warehouses. I'm going to look a little bit closer into what we do with zero copy, right? The zero copy is how we're actually virtualizing the data that's sitting on top of all of these things, where you can, without having to copy, having to have an ETL pipeline, have access to that data. That creates a virtual cycle, right? We talked about data federation for data that's coming into Data Cloud, as well as data sharing back into your Databricks instance, creates that virtuous cycle, where you're able to use all of these insights in the flow of work. And that enables you to really take full advantage of Data Cloud. I'm going to take you a little bit further into what zero copy is and how it does. On the left-hand side, you can see that you have access to all your structured and unstructured data, and we allow you to do two types of federation. One is through query federation, right? And the other is through file federation. It's your choice. Either you can use JDBC to query the data from your data lakehouse, or you can do file federation, which is an integration that we have done at the storage level. Once the data is into Data Cloud, you're doing the same things that I talked about, harmonizing, unifying, and getting value out of the data and acting on the data. Once you have the data available, you can either share it back to your lakehouse of your choice or back to Databricks, or you can activate that. Use that same data for your agentic experience and so on and so forth. Let's look under the hood. How is this done? Some of you are thinking, well, this is great. It's an open and extensible platform. I'm able to bring data from Databricks into Data Cloud and back. How does that really work? So as I was saying, there's two ways you can do the query federation or federation into Data Cloud, the data federation. One is through query through JDBC. We do all of the push down work so that the compute is happening in Databricks where the data is, so closer to data. So that's one way. In many cases, you want low latency. And what we have done is through file federation, with the open table format that Akram talked about, we have done an iceberg level integration with Databricks so that you can just do table scans of the data of your choice and have only access to that data into Data Cloud. And that's really powerful. It cuts down the cost, but also brings down the latency. It's low latency and high performance. And that's wonderful and really powerful because now you have two ways of easily having access to the data from Databricks into Data Cloud. And similarly, data sharing is just a matter of creating a connection, what we call a data share target, to Databricks. And we have done that same file level integration with Databricks. So with our storage APIs internally, it allows you to take any of the Data Cloud objects. Imagine you have an account object, or an opportunity, or a lead, or a case object. And you say, these are the objects that I want to be able to share back into Databricks because that's where I'm doing my analytics. It's as simple as taking those objects, pointing and clicking, and making it available by linking it to the target, because your Databricks is your target. Once you have done that, all of your data essentially is available to you continuously. Day zero data happens the first time, but subsequently it's all going to be incremental data that continuously gets to you and makes gets available. I'm going to go very fast with this. This is just a couple of screenshots that shows how easy it is to point and click. On the left side, it's data federation. On the right side, it's data sharing. And I'm going to close down with one customer testimony after this, which is you have these capabilities today, and come and talk to me or Akram if you're interested in file federation, which is now in beta, as well as data sharing, which is also in beta. We'll run that beta for about a month or so, and we would really love for you to be able to participate in that. And with the Zero Copy Partner Network, you have access to all these different partner network and connectors, not limited to one or two. And that really opens up our broad ecosystem of how you're thinking about Zero Copy as a central strategy for Data Cloud. FedEx is one of the key customer use cases who took full advantage of this. And what they did was they had all of their shipping information in Databricks, and they did not want to move their data. They want to keep the data, but they had all of their customer data in Salesforce. What they did is with Zero Copy Federation, they were able to get all of that shipping data without having to copy, without having to duplicate into Data Cloud, and we're able to actually drive insights and target specifically these international customers and improve significant ROI by just being able to combine that data seamlessly and take full advantage of it. We have many more use cases that we can power with this integration. There's a limitless number of possibilities, and we're really excited to have this partnership strongly with Databricks. And I want to say thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Raj Kumar. Thanks, everyone. These were two examples, Salesforce Data Cloud, SAP, where you really see the power of open formats, kind of unifying the data, breaking down the silos, and using the combination of open format, unified governance with things like Unity Catalog, and delta sharing for zero copy file federation. That kind of breaks down these barriers, kind of makes you very easy for you to unify this data. And this ecosystem is growing very fast. Like, these are two examples of two very important partners we're working with. We have many, many other partners. You've seen in the slides some of them, and we continue to add more every year. So thank you very much for coming up to see this. Wanted to show you this in action with two real partners. And I hope it was useful. Feel free to come to us and ask questions. And then we'll be adding more partners over time to grow the ecosystem. Thanks, everybody, for coming.